Most of us look at the gap between the average crowd and the top 1% and assume it comes down to luck, a better zip code, or an inherited bank balance. But the money sitting in a bank account is a lagging indicator, the final, visible output of a process that started long before the first dollar was ever earned. The financial divide we see is the shadow cast by a psychological gap. High performers operate on a cognitive framework where reality, time, and fear are filtered through a specific set of rules. We can map this out as a cognitive hierarchy. At the base, we have the extraction of resources. In the middle, the algorithms used to process data. And at the peak, the core engine driving it all, identity. Entering this group starts with a transition, moving from a reliance on external luck to the internal architecture that creates it. Layer 1 involves handling resources. While the default response to friction is complaining, this flowchart shows a different path. The friction points toward a ride-sharing opportunity. Confusion maps to an education business. Time-wasting tasks expand into productivity tools. Every frustration is a money map. This shift applies to time as well. While many spend hours to save a few dollars, the top 1% aggressively deploy capital to buy back their time. They treat time as a factory. Before taking on a task, they ask two specific questions. Can this be automated? And can this be delegated? They apply this same curation to their social circles. Humans absorb the traits of their environment. Sitting at a table with 5 confused people makes you the 6th. These individuals do not just endure their surroundings. They harvest their problems, their hours, and their networks for maximum leverage. That leverage is processed through Layer 2, internal algorithms. Decisions move away from the volatility of feeling and toward the stability of hard numbers. As this split screen shows, feelings fluctuate like weather. Data acts as a compass. By tracking specific metrics, income, growth, habits, and ROI, they maintain a steady path forward despite emotional shifts. This data-driven approach changes how they view risk. Instead of blind jumps, high performers put fear under a microscope to analyze the actual stakes. This is calculated risk, quantifying the exact downside of a failure against the specific upside of a win before making a single move. To keep these calculations accurate, the intake of information never stops. They replace formal schooling with a continuous study of market trends, psychology, and business models. Upgrading these internal algorithms ensures long-term survival through constant data-backed adaptation. All of that calculation requires an execution engine. While we often focus on the spectacle of success, the reality is closer to this dark construction site, a slow, unglamorous process that happens long before the lights come on. This engine runs on the rejection of victimhood. When resources are low or support is missing, they stop counting excuses and start counting the moves they can make with what they have. It requires sacrificing the immediate pleasure of today to secure the leverage of freedom 5 years from now. Success scales through the mundane work of repeatable habits, the daily cycle of learning, building, and improving. Outsized results are the product of aggressively mundane, relentless forward motion. But the previous layers, the money maps, the data tracking, and the consistency, eventually fail if the core of the hierarchy remains unchanged. A superficial goal like making money is fragile. It lacks the structural integrity to survive a market crash or the boredom of the daily grind. The top 1% focus on identity. When the core shift happens, declaring "I am a builder" or "I am disciplined," as you see here, the nodes for consistency and data tracking connect automatically. When your sense of self changes, the friction in your habits disappears. Your risk tolerance and your discipline align with who you believe you are. Replicating the financial results of the elite is a downstream effect of adopting the mental architecture that produced them. The bank balance changes only after the mindset has shifted to accommodate it. Looking at these cognitive layers, from viewing problems as maps to rewriting your core identity, which of these shifts is most necessary for you today? Let me know in the comments.